Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy Jerry Trades back in another banger video, and on today's video we want to go ahead and cover together this enormous change to the trading scene. And this is a really big rule change from the SEC that I think everyone should know about. You know, to begin with, like, this is a huge step, I believe, towards the positive side of helping people learn more about, you know, the stock market, cutting that barrier to entry. You know, oftentimes everyone thinks you need a lot of money to get into the stock market. You need a lot of money to start trading, and that used to be true. You know, back in 2020 when I started trading, this rule was still in place, and this is known as the pattern day trading rule. For those of you guys that don't know about it, you know, it's a $25,000 balance limit to be able to day trade. So day trading, just to be more specific, right? Because oftentimes social media kind of like miscommunicates this or mistranslates it to like some sort of occupation. A day trade is just a time frame behind a trade. It's not an occupation. It's not something you're doing. Being a trader is an occupation, but being a day trader just means that you're a trader that focuses on opening and closing positions in the trading day time span. So what is a trading day time span? For those of you guys that don't know, well, here on Pacific Standard Time, one day trade is either going to be opened and closed before 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if I open a position at 7:30 a.m. and I close that position at 9:30 a.m., that is considered a day trade. And back then, you know, we used to override this and kind of find our little, you know, ways around it. And Robinhood has this feature that allows you to switch from a margin account. Just to add a little bit more context, a margin account is an account that has credit to it. No, you're not borrowing this credit, but it's just a credit that when you close a transaction or close a trade or any sale of an asset, the profits or your capital that was exposed to the asset will be pulled from this credit and directly deposited into your buying power. We used to be able to take 3 day trades max every 5 days. So to get around this rule, you know, I would take 3 day trades and then switch to a cash account. And now on a cash account, this is the catch. On a cash account, you can open and close a trade on the same trading day, but you won't get your money back until the following day because they have to process the transaction and then your money would appear in the next following morning. So oftentimes this would be a negative kind of factor in my trading. Why? Because I would have to be careful with my capital. I know if I expose $600 and my portfolio is $1,000, I'm exposing 60% of my portfolio, but when I sell this position, I won't be able to access that capital until the following day. So oftentimes I would have to be very conservative in my trading, and I oftentimes wouldn't be able to profit as much as I should have. Why? Because sometimes there'll be scenarios where we'll have aggressive buying and you're in calls. Hey, you want to sell at the top, and it's almost second nature to know that whenever there's aggressive buying, there's going to be some sort of selling, and that's where I would have taken puts. But being on a cash account, I don't get that capital back to be able to really capitalize my profits and the capital from the first trade to leverage that to make more on the puts coming down and then ride it on the way back up. And a lot of traders that have these $25,000 balances and were allowed to day trade, they were profiting like this. You know, for me as a beginner, I remember when I was 18 years old, this $25,000 seemed like a mountain to climb it. And it really is. It's a lot of money, man. When, you know, you're growing up in these middle income environments, you don't have a lot of income opportunities. You know, I was working at Chipotle, bro. The last thing I ever thought was I was going to have $25,000 just to throw in my portfolio to go ahead and trade. You know, I had to earn all of this, and it was a huge mountain to climb. You know, I didn't crack probably like 100 and something thousand in my portfolio until I was roughly like 22. So it was a very high barrier to entry. This did impact me for the majority of my trading career. But now the SEC on April 16th finally confirmed that they're going to be changing this $25,000 rule down to $2,000. And this is great news. Why? Because I truly believe in everyone learning how to trade. I truly believe in people are supposed to be taught this skill set. Yes, it's a very high risk form of investing. Yes, while you're learning, the probability of you losing money is very high. But that's the same thing with everything. Whenever you try anything in life, when you're first starting, you are more inclined to fail than you are to succeed. And that's okay. But the sooner you start, the more experience you build, the more experience you build, the less you begin to lose. And that's the whole journey of this. But with a $25,000 pattern day trading rule, who's even gonna want to start, you know? But now being at 2,000, I mean, sure, it's a hefty amount, but we're grown adults here, you know? Money is increasingly becoming less and less more valuable. And as an individual, you have to be advancing and maturing to be able to create more of this. And oftentimes income opportunities like a career or a job are really fixed on how much you're getting paid by the hour. So there is a time to reward ratio. But with trading and investing, now you're moving capital, aiming to get back percentages on your capital. So now let's say if I'm trying to make $600 in a day, well, now I only have to deploy $1,000 and make a trade that does 60%. And there, I made $600. And that's a different way of thinking. When you're deploying capital to make money, it changes. And for me, this was a really huge impact that shaped my paradigm of thinking and, just understanding how to create income. It was no longer, oh, I have to work a week to go ahead and make, $600 or work 2-3 days to make $600. Now, just this morning, I went ahead and deployed $725 and I made a 96% profit, bringing home $700 in profits right there. It's a bit of a tough one, but hopefully she gets it there. So I deployed 725 to make back 700 flat. And boom, back in my younger self, bro, I used to have to go work 3 days roofing, 3 days, almost a whole week at Chipotle, almost, 4 days at a warehouse to make that much money. This thing, bro, it only took me an hour. I opened the position. Let's go ahead and show you guys this so you guys understand, because my main goal with this is to relay the information to spread more awareness around this. Because I know, when you're young, growing up with friends that really are just figuring out life, their parents don't know anything about this, they all kind of have their heads all in the wrong places, you're not going to uncover this information too easily all by yourself. So let's go ahead and jump into this so you guys can see that it really, yes, the skill set is what allows me to make this much, but at the same time, it's just not as time consuming. So we opened this position at 7:08 a.m. You see that right there? Right here, 7:08 a.m. right there at open, all right? When we close this position, I closed it at 7:40 a.m. So you're telling me in 32 minutes, right? Because it's, 7:40 a.m. All right, 7:40 a.m. and I opened it at 7:08 a.m. That's 32 minutes to make $700. Bro, you can't compare that to an hourly income. You'd have to work 10 hours getting paid $70 an hour. As a young 20-year-old with, either even a bachelor's, bro, it's pretty difficult to land a career that's going to pay you that much off rip. So it's difficult. It's hard to be able to, hey, put yourself in the shoes of adapting to a different world, and this happened to me very young. So now I'm much more matured, much more less, resistance about it. I know it's real. And I love that the SEC approved this rule, because now it gives other people the opportunity to learn it and see it for themselves. And it's very unfortunate because I'm very passionate about this, I've always seen the pattern between people's happiness and fulfillment and, how they perceive life connected to their income situation. Oftentimes growing up in these lower to middle income environments, the only way we're taught to make money is working a job, is trading time for money. But as I began to learn how the rich make their money, wow, deploying capital and making money work for you is absolutely game changing. And this goes back to a quote that I always share with you guys. When I was 17, I read in Rich Dad Poor Dad that the rich don't work for money, money works for them. And it's something that I highly recommend you guys give in a lot of thought to and begin exploring in your early 20s, in your late teens. Because I'm telling you, in this life, money is extremely important. It determines how nice of a house you have, how nice of a car you have, the quality of food you eat, how much sleep you get, when you wake up and go to work, when you get to eat. It's everything, bro. It determines a lot. So having financial freedom should be, one of the priorities in your youth to try to focus on and create. And with this rule being approved, I do believe there's going to be a flood of new traders, people that are going to be be running, the demand, the revenue for, companies like Robinhood. I believe Robinhood's going to be a very explosive start, because now, instead of young people trying to learn how to gamble, people taking their money to sports bets, people taking their money to just all these online casinos that are being heavily marketed to the youth, maybe in a few of those people, there will be a trader that discovers the true financial freedom with a much more calculated form of investing and creating income, rather than just betting if a sports team wins or loses, or if a sports team player makes 8 threes or not. Now you have actual data, the rules and all the odds are now in your favor. You're in control as a trader. And I love this, bro, because I've always been very passionate about raising awareness and sharing this with people, because I know no one shared it with me. So this is a huge step towards the right side, and I'm very happy that the SEC went ahead and approved this. But with this new flow of new traders, message from me to you, man. Be careful with this thing. It's very easily to be discouraged. It's very easy to lose a lot of money. It's very easy to struggle in learning this. It's just because it's a $2,000 now barrier to entry doesn't mean it gets any easier. It's still a very difficult, a very you can say, man, time consuming in a sense form of creating income. You have to be very well informed. You do have to, I guess, invest a lot of your knowledge, a lot of your time into gathering information behind your trades, rather than just treating this like a form of gambling, or hey, I think it's going up or I think it's going down. Don't treat it so primal. Treat it a little bit more analytically, with a little bit more, I guess you can say, evidence, a little bit more care, a little bit more professionalism, and it will help you along your trading journey. Along this journey, if you guys are looking to really take it serious, my advice to you is work with someone that's very experienced, that has a proven track record. If it's not me, it's perfectly fine if it's someone else, but don't be cheap. I feel like a lot of people are going to begin to invest in this knowledge, begin to invest in learning this skill set. And oftentimes when you're young, you don't want to pay too much to learn something, and don't cheap yourself out, man. Like me, I provide a very quality mentorship, a lot of information, one-on-one, in-person classes, online classes, and I've worked with countless individuals to help them generate a lot of profits, but never was my program cheap. A lot of these individuals were mature business owners, high-paying careers, just individuals that have already been risking too much. I've worked with individuals that were gamblers, losing, $1.6 million in gambling. That's my client, Patrick. I have another client, Ernie, out in Michigan, gas and, petroleum company, easily clearing $60,000 a month. So these individuals were much more established. But I also met, people that were, hey, like already in their business models investing $5,000 for products to continue selling and, flipping them. So those individuals, didn't have a hard time paying this. But if you're going to be aiming to invest in your knowledge, aiming to invest in learning this skill set, the last thing you want to do is fall for some cheap stuff just because these guys are showing you Lamborghinis and a lot of money. Doesn't mean they're going to give you their time of day for you to really learn this. So invest in someone that is going to give you that time and, I guess you can say, patience to teach you, because this is a really big step. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of components. And man, it's something you want to get started on very young, because as your responsibilities stack higher, as your time begins to get taken away from you, it's hard to, I guess you can say, invest it to learning this. So pick up on it, and if you are aiming to invest in your education, man, here at SoCal Trading Group, we always are welcoming new members. Some of the profits that I've been able to generate from my clients are a little bit of something like this, this, and so many more, man. Just in the month of April, it was a huge month. We have the month of March. We've been doing this since 2025, and man, the results I've been able to see these guys create and how they've grown as traders is absolutely amazing. So I hope all of you guys, enjoy this video. I hope all you guys treat this very responsibly, but now more than ever is it a great time to become a trader, because you don't got to deal with this rule no more. $2,000 to be able to day trade, close and open positions in the same trading day, it's absolutely broken. You're talking about a skill set that with $2,000, you can easily turn that into maybe 5,000 in a day. You're talking about doing more than 100% on your capital in a day. multiple times if you can close and open a position in the same day. And for $2,000 to be able to do that, it's a no-brainer, bro. So I'm glad they, changed this rule. And I'm not sure if it's still in effect. The new rules will take effect June 4th, 2026. So in June 4th, 2026 is when everything goes into effect. So man, everyone get ready for this, because it's absolutely going to change the game, and we're going to see volume like never before. I think this is going to significantly impact volume profiles across some of the biggest companies, and we're going to see a lot of liquidity, a lot of people investing money, a lot of people that don't know what they're doing that are just going to give it away to the people that do. And I love this. As experienced traders, we're going to have some fun. As unexperienced traders, I hope you guys gather this experience, surround yourself with the people that are trying to help you out, because it's going to be a really, really bright future for all of us traders here now in the markets with this SEC approving this change. But other than that, man, that summarizes, this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys for following along. Leave a like and subscribe. Man, but really be prepared for this, because, wow. Don't say Jerry Trades didn't tell you, man. This is the future. This is that business model. This is that side income stream that will change your life. I always tell people this, like a lot of people oftentimes don't really see the benefit of it. What changed my life was when I made $116,000 in 3 hours. And this really always changes a lot of people's perspectives, because where I'm from, it takes a whole year to make that income if you're lucky. And I'm only 23 years old. And I was able to generate right there $116,000 in profit in just 3 hours. I go and talk to normal people about this win, they'll look at me like I'm crazy, but that's my reality. I recommend you guys speed up your journey working with someone with a lot of experience in teaching people and that patience, because they trade. But not a lot of people claim they can teach and show you guys proof and results. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Jerry Trades, the SoCal Trading Group, over and out.